So I'm Ken Endo, BIM IT manager of Kajima Corporation. And then Kajima is one of the biggest construction company in Japan, not in the world. I'm sorry. But there are the 5 biggest construction companies in Japan. And then Kajima is one of them. And I've been working for BIM and IT, but I don't have any construction background. But working for Kajima as IT manager, but last 10 years, I start to work with construction division and then start up the BIM in our company. So I have around 10 years experience of BIM. And then 6 years ago, I start up this room here in buildingSMART International with my boss, Yajima. So I have 6 years experience here. And on the same time, I start up buildingSMART Japan construction room the same time. So 6 years experience of local activities. So today, my purpose is just introduce you what the CL is and what's the characters of construction BIM and what we have now, the tool and process, how to advance this construction BIM much more forward. And then lastly, I would like to conclude my presentation. So the first several pages will be some document from the charter. Let me see. Yeah, this one. We have now the 6 members, steering committee members in CL. Initially, we 2 of us start up, but around 2 years ago, we formed the steering committee in CL and recruiting the new member for the steering committee. So now we are the 6 members. And then we've been working for creating this kind of document. And now we have the charter document. And firstly, the mission, vision and mission. Highlight sentence I want to read. So construction room CR is focused on digital transformation. It's the vision, so not small size the vision, but it's quite bold ground. IBAT the vision. So first it comes digital transformation, and next one to enable the application of Open BIM standards to construction sites, and defining requirements through use cases, and explaining the benefits of Open BIM comes next. And lastly, to accelerate use of Open BIM further is our vision. And next one, so what's the scope of us is the next one. And here comes the 3, digitalization and develop site environment best practice based on Open BIM. And third one is to provide Open BIM education to the construction industry. And another rest are the much more the work level deliverables. So 3 of them are scopes and rest are deliverable. So document sharing and management are also in our scope. And project information management collaboration and communication technology. And here comes the 4D and 5D, including cost and schedule. And last slide from charter. here's the approach. Oh, excuse me, scope. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. So how to approach this broad and very complex scope is another additional problem. So we steering committee members also discuss the approach to create the methodology. Applying the OpenBIM standard to construction sites and linking across the domains of existing rooms. This summit meeting is the best and right place to do. It's linking the activity of other rooms. So we run our room and pop in the other room to search connection with us. And construction site is regarded as an ecosystem, which is assembling a variety of production systems. Therefore, sharing the use case should be the basis of new BSI standards. And we strongly believe that value of CR is based on use cases. BSI standards are now expanding, and we cannot grasp all details of these technologies. But through the sharing of site management experience, we can holistically understand the way of OpenBIM and share the experience to the colleague in your office and your local chapter is very recommended. And you can make strong tie with some software vendors also. And then you will be a very strong influencer to spread the OpenBIM to your industry. Is the approach which we thinking about. So this one is the topics we had in past summit meeting. So year 2016, we started the session in Korea, Jeju Island. So, and then the 2 times a year, we hold a session. So second one, topic and discussion, is our presentation. And then use cases are some guest speakers presentation. So we've been having many, but firstly, we have many use cases from Korea, Swiss, Japan, Spain, which are the very local construction company. They made the presentation. So in Barcelona, Spanish company made presentation to share the use cases and so on. But in virtual summit, we don't have many use cases. So from now, we wanna restart this kind of the use case, the sharing. So that's the trend, past trend of our topic. And this time in our session, we have the 4 rooms. So first one is CR2, my session, the opening plenary discussion regarding 45-day operation. And from next CL3 is joint presentation with Veliko Yannick and Tomislav Sigo. And the benefits of holistic OpenBIM digital construction management. Oh, is it automatically? Okay, slide back. And then third one is the Canadian, the use case. And I asked Susan Kinleyside. I guess all of you know she's the member of BS Canada and then the hosting BSI Award. And also Bill Moore, the chairman. And then are you Steve? No, I'm sorry. I didn't meet him yet. So anyhow, the Steve Mahoney will provide the Canadian use case today. And tomorrow, Mideta from the Bexel also give us the 3D45D presentation. So the rest three are regarding of 4D and 5D. And one Canadian chapter presentation will be the use case in this summit meeting. So I want to show off this presentation. So the Canada's largest and most complex heritage rehabilitation project from the Steve Mahoney will be start from 3:30 today. I'm not sure which room is, but please join this session. Okay, so the next one is the scope of CL. So there are the 5 rooms now, and we are in user focus room. And then the top level, there are 4 rooms under the technical issue. And then we are focused on much more user side. And the center of the 5, here's the construction. And as you might know, regulatory airport or railway or sustainability energy, all those are some domain, which I mean they are focusing on the airport or some building or infrastructure, railway. That's some part of the building or the infrastructure object. But the focusing topic is construction. And it means that we are focusing on operation, not the object, but operation. So why I say this is 4D, 5D itself are the operation itself. So why our topics, past topics are 4D, 5D is, here is the answer. That we are focusing on operational beam. So it means the 4D and 5D beam. So that's why, and it's quite normal to have many discussion regarding of 4D and 5D. And so yeah, here's the center circle and the operational domain we have. And then the many construction manager and BIM users not joining this society, but there are many users and manager who wants to just using BIM for their operation. So what I'm thinking is construction should have the good role to connect all those person with the technical person and some specialty person in domain of airport and railway. So we are quite general. And then have very big potential connecting to the site and very those. So center of the circle, there's a construction. So many of the construction company person will join our group. And other person is BIM person. It's much more techy and IT side person. And surrounding all those, there are IT and IoT and manufacturing. So those are all the person that welcome to our room. So And this earmark, I want to hear from you. And then please raise your hand. If you belong to the construction, please raise your hand. Okay, 4 person. And the BIM person. Okay. And IoT IT. Oh, I see. So covering this area. And then how about the manufacturing? Some Siemens or...
Does that include offsite panelization?
Prefabrication.
Prefab.
Oh, prefabrication is a kind of manufacturing. Yes, right. Of course. Yes. Okay, so we expect to join many kinds of person, a variety of person to join the construction room. And the phase of our construction room is around here. You know this chart?
Yes.
Have you ever seen? Yeah. Who did not know this chart? Please. Oh, you don't know. Okay, no problem.
No problem.
Anyhow, this chart is quite famous, but I didn't know 6 years ago. I just popped in this society and then know what it is. This is the ISO 16. ISO, sorry, 19. 650. Oh, sorry, here. Yeah, thank you for support. Yes. And then it's the life cycle of building. And then the normal person starts from here. The project starts here. And then this one is the design stage, and the construction stage, and finish. And then the next stage is production and the maintenance stage. So FM stage. So firstly, we tend to think starting from here. But now it says start here for strategic planning. So many of us start to think about information management of construction from a very earlier stage than we thought. So think about the existing asset and then what's the next new the building is. So here, information exchange. Oh, yeah, here. So start the analyze of the existing assets and then define what we need. So firstly, we say the EIR exchange information requirement. It is from our employee, employer or owner of the building to give us EIR, what they want from the construction company. And then we built BEP, BIM execution plan. Create all those information through from the designing and to construction. Data series of data are responding to EIR. So that's the circle. But anyhow, the main focus is around here, construction. But we don't think that it's separate. All those information are connected is the very important things. So now I wanna just wrap up this topic, role of CL. So CL is user focused room and connect connecting BIM user to OpenBIM technology, and apply OpenBIM to construction projects, and evaluate and test OpenBIM technology at the field and the feedback. It's our contribution to our community. Not just using, but the feedback, and then you'll be influencer to the industry, and transform project-driven data. It's a bit complicated. In the past, we make or the progress project, and then the data is created. So the data comes later. So we cannot use data very strategically. Just memorize and then use for just feedback. But in this circle, we should use much more the information from the past projects. So if you have a very big data lake in your company, and then reuse those data, the project should be like this: data drive project. So data driven project is very ideal, the status of construction. And if we achieve that status, I guess improvement of productivity of construction also achieved, is my thinking. So that's the role of CL. So next one is characters of construction BIM. So do you have any question? Are you okay? You understand my English?
Yes.
Are you okay? So next one is the difference. Yeah, character of the construction BIM. And firstly, I wanna explain what's the difference of design BIM and construction BIM. So here's the phase of the life cycle of construction and design and pre-construction and construction. 3 phases here. So think about design phase. What are we doing in design phase? So the answer is we decide what to build. So designing and then zoning. So what's the building is designing. That's the designing issue. So we have the design plan, initial plan, and then update all those. And then if it is getting much more detail, we have some model. And initially, it's quite simple model of the LOD 100 or so. But the later stage of design stage is matured to 200 or 250, and like that. Anyhow, the design phase, the information is updated and detailed. So this circle. And in pre-construction phase, it's the phase for the how to build, thinking about how to build and how to manage, and then create construction planning. And if you have very good BIM model in design phase, we can use those model to use for construction planning. So that's the pre-construction, the work in the pre-construction. And third one, in construction phase, what we are doing is operation or construction itself, and operating construction and manage construction. So we do these things for construction management. and it's quite famous, and everyone in Japanese construction company know those three criteria. And maybe you know this five: quality control management, safety management, delivery management, and cost and environment. And what we do in this criteria is the checking the reality, what happened in the site. Is the very basic action, and compare to plan and how how the management operation works, good, bad, worse, better. So this cycle is done in construction phase. So here's the BIM model, and then here's the plan with BIM model, and here's some comparison with BIM model and reality. And of course, reality is changing very rapidly, and the cloud, some weather condition is changing, and we should change the plan, original plan. Also, all those things happen. So it means the time window for the managing all those are very short, and rapidly we use those information and then do some next action. So that's the very big character of or requirement we have, and then BIM person the have from the construction site manager. So we should provide the very rapid information, and then responding to the changing the status. So that kind of thing are the needed. So we need these kind of tools now. And quality, how do you manage quality at the site?
It's subjective.
Objective.
Subjective.
Subjective.
It's up to the person that's checking the quality, usually the client, usually the Kojimas of the world, says it's good, you can be paid, or you got to fix this.
Anyhow, many of us go into the site and check by your eye,
Right.
or the taking photo, or some taking the video, and then send those video remotely and someone else checking by their eye.
Also point clouds.
Point cloud.
Yeah, you go in and scan it for dimensional integrity.
So it really depends on the visual solution. It's my thinking. So if we do not have the BIM itself, it's okay. Just checking by eye. And safety also. If you have model and then plan some safety measure or something dangerous area, we should clarify and show them to our workers. It's the role of BIM, but to manage safety, we should go to the site and then check where's the dangerous area. Or some sensor is some alternative for this human eye. So someone who are close to some truck or crane, some alarm ring, and then notify the person the area of danger. But so this kind of solution is the IoT solution mainly. Is my thinking. And the delivery and cost, it's quite depends on data. So the delivery Yeah. Of course, we can go and then count up the truck number or the parcel of the material. But anyhow, we can count the number from BIM and then compare the reality. So in delivery, we can use the BIM very strongly. And the cost also. Cost is if it is linked or the BIM is linked from a procurement stage, much earlier stage. And then if we add the cost information to all object of BIM, we can easily calculate the costs, total cost. So the 4D and 5D is for delivery and cost. And environment, we are just start to think about it. So many of you know the material passport. Do you know? It's the database of the carbon emission. So the EU starts very early stage from, and then they create their database. So the carbon offset or that kind of the business, the structure also starts from EU. And Japan, we just start to think about it. I don't know what's happening in this North America, but do you start some kind of CO2 management in construction?
Their lead.
A lead. Oh, right. I see.
And that's slowly developing. But in terms of the carbon content, probably not there yet on most projects.
I see.
Not yet.
Not yet. But yesterday we have many the presentation of the regarding environment.
Yeah, I mean there are proposals out there, but in actual fact, get it built as fast as possible.
Yeah. And then BSDD, it was in the technical session yesterday. Will be some kind of the alternative way, alternative of material database. If we have some material data in BSDD, and additionally, we store also the CO2 data connecting link to the BSDD. We can very easily connect BIM to the CO2 data. So those are the difference and then characteristics of construction BIM. So design BIM is based on the geometry, and then the overlay many BIM data to make the federated BIM model, and then cross check, and then make the consistent BIM model. But in this pre-construction and construction phase, the much more the information, not the geometry, is important, and the very rapid update of information is required. So from now, I have some slide I want to show you. It was the slide from Beijing Summit 2019. And then the topic was this one. Introduction of CL. Yeah, it was held in the first session of CL. So the introduction, and then I did the quest of 4D and higher dimension BIM. So CR1 in the Beijing Summit. So 4D BIM and 5D BIM, can you define those two words? Someone who tried to please raise your hand. Oh, thank you.
Time and cost.
Time and cost, yes.
Yes.
Very clear. Any other comment? No, it's okay. Our consensus, yeah. For the, is it sure? It's the question. For the, yes, you said time and cost. 4D equal 3D plus time. So how about 5D? 4D plus cost. So it means 5D includes 3D and time and cost.
Something like that, but it's more like that.
Right. Yeah.
Not
So,
only- not
okay,
only-
should have been fourth D and fifth D.
Oh,
But
gee.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very smart.
Okay.
5D, the technical word is very, very difficult to use, and then there are no consensus at this moment. Everyone said the 4D is time, 5D cost. But the 5D is including the time and cost, or just 5D includes 3D and cost,
No, it's not really. That's not an issue.
not the issue.
Interesting.
From my opinion, it's a different direction.
Different.
Dimensions of the same
Dimension. Mhm.
So it's like mathematics. You have 3D direction, you have 4 direction, you have 5 direction, and even in this direction, you can go further.
I
It's
see.
not full. It's not because 40 is full, you can start 5D. It's
Mhm.
something you can manage differently. You can do cost with 2D drawings.
Yes,
Right.
I see.
Right.
So 2D
It's
plus
like- it's
Yeah.
cost,
like mathematical
Yeah,
algorithm.
2D plus cost.
it's 4D or 5D.
Oh, well, is it? Can't be 3D.
Can be 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
It's not an addition. It's simple addition, not that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
moreover,
Mhm.
the danger in doing that is to manage the cost only for 3D mode.
Mm.
The cost is not only on 3D mode, it's also on the construction side. Construction side, they are around the building. We have cost. And it cannot be managed by the building itself,
Mm. I see.
you know?
And cost is
I'll tell you what.
variable for a subcontractor with crews that are getting paid and get delayed, right? That's
Yeah.
not determined.
Yeah.
What about the cost of the crane?
Mm.
Yeah.
It's not on the building.
I see. So this kind of the very high dimension BIM, the discussion is very difficult to have the consensus. And then I searched from the web. It was 2 years ago, but many definitions.
Yeah.
So the
After
60,
5, it's
70, and then what's
It's pushing.
90. So that kind of the information that we can see. And the some, this chart is very funny. And then that's what I said. 5D is 3D plus cost, or but on this pyramid, it's not independent, this dimension. So here's the basis, fundamental, and the next step, higher level. But what we are thinking in real construction site is much more flexible, not step by step. We want to know the cost, so go to 5D area, and then use BIM and how to calculate the cost efficiently. It's our way of thinking. So the pyramid model is,
It's not.
wrong,
It's not.
is what my opinion. So structure is like this: 3D plus attribute equal beam, and then attribute, there are the information, materials, and quantity, etc. And then in this attribute, we can say also the property. If you set this time and schedule data into the attribute, it will be 4D. And then with 3D information and then cost, it will be 5D. If you think about like this, all those dimensions are independent, and think much more flexible. Yeah. And another thing is another problem in this one. BIM is object oriented. So if you give the time and schedule, the object should be given to this. Each object will have time, and each object will have cost. So if the 3D object model is very low level, the LOD, we cannot plan the very detailed time schedule and then cost planning. It's another problem. So it's 4D, 5D, all those independent, but depend on the 3D LOD, level of detail, is another problem. So if you start the very early stage of the construction and thinking about cost and then the schedule, but you don't have any good 3D model, you can do 4D, 5D for the calculation.
We do.
You can do.
We do really, because we need to have, before starting the construction, is a finite price.
Yes.
So we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Even
you
if
do
we
it.
have any 3D or French or whatever. So we do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the units are larger than during and big and becomes smaller during the construction. But at the beginning, you need to know the price of the overall project. So
I guess you use the past information, past project information. So you have many the experience and the data.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's very important in the cost.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I said all those information circulate like this.
That's make sure it's for the asset itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for the site.
Oh, I see.
Here you are managing
Mm-hmm.
the amount of information for operation and maintenance at the end. That's the overall quantity of information you are managing for the idea of the first idea for creating a project, and the last area when the project is operated, which is the life cycle. Okay, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I know. But anyhow, if you precisely count,
I prefer this.
yeah,
picture.
we need much more high level 3D model. It's another question. So I want to go forward. So the 3D, 4D, 5D, the area of those very fuzzy is the reality. So we should think the cost and schedule simultaneously, because if the schedule is shortened, cost will decrease. But if you need to shorten the schedule, we need much more workforce very in short term. So it makes much more cost. So the 3D, 4D and 5D is quite strong tie, and then sometimes the something up and something down. How can I say? It's trend of relation. So thinking about the 4D, 5D, or the divide, the domain, is quite, I think it's nonsense. So the clear definition of 3D, 4D, 5D is very difficult and not worth doing, is my opinion.
Good.
So what I want to say here is do not use this kind of the dimensional conversation, but divide just operation and geometry, operational information and geometry information. So 4D, 5D, the 60, 70, all those are for operation. So including all those into the operation and then divide it to the 3D is my final answer at this moment. So 40, 50, 60, all those are independent. So this number does not mean just does not mean the sequence of beam progression. And so how do you define the operational beam is another question. And then there are the very variety of operation. Then in your company, and then some specific type of the building. So you have some specific operation. You have operation A. I have operation B, C, D. And none of them are same. So how do you manage or share the information and then make value to the community? It's another problem. So yes, another problem. So I want to go to the conclusion from now, but from before going into the conclusion, I want to wrap up the character of construction beam here. So speedy beam starts fast and 4D, 5D, 6D, many higher dimension, but we can divide from here. The very static the geometry-based beam is 3D. And other 40, 5D, 60, all those are operational and management, for management. And so we have many, many use cases. How to manage construction site is very different. And should handle very dynamic data. The status of construction site is rapidly changing, rapidly updating. So the data is updated, not day by day, but in second or some very short range. So we need another kind of some tools and process for handling construction beam. Is the conclusion of this number 2 character and construction beam. So next one is how to manage in those very difficult operational beam is process at this moment. This is, and then the bottom, here's the domain of IFC. So we can use building IFC, railway IFC. All those are two to manage very complex construction site. Create some IFC file, and then next XML and the OWL JSON. Those kind of the variety of files can be used for the expressing all those the schema, IFC schema. And then now it is on the database. Yes.
Do you use BCF?
BCF, yes, of course. Oh,
Oh, I see it. It's on the right there. BCF. I didn't see it.
BCF is it on?
Yeah,
BCF
on the right, right there.
right side. Yes.
I didn't see it on the left. That's why I was asking.
Information technology, new file type, and then it's the history of IT, and then it starts from the PC and the file, and then go into the web, and then the internet starts, and then it's now the basis of the economy. So the come up with is very generally used internet used file type are adapted to BIM. And the next are DB and the non-SQL. Those database in those database and with the web technology, we can access BIM data via internet, not file. And then another, the buildingSMART standards, such like the BCF, and then some document management, API, or CDE are created by the software vendors. So we can use all those tools now to manage construction site. And then, of course, those CDE has the web connection now. And then, as you might know, the OpenCDE API, the Oracle's Frank Weiss yesterday presented from online, but he starts this standardizing OpenCDE API. So via this OpenCDE API, it will be, or BIM world will be connected to the very high level, the IT technology. Now it starts. So when you, or the generally, the industry person start to use drone and head mount display, all those gadgets, and then meta technology, we can very easily connect to the BIM data now. It starts. And then, of course, IoT and AI also that we can use. So firstly, initially, we just using this area, building IFC and IFC file and the BIM software, Revit or ArchiCAD, and then create data and the file posting and sharing. But now there's the big software ecosystem, and then all those run and we can use in real construction site. So firstly here and next year and last year, and now connect to the very high level, state-of-the-art IT. And then so this portion, CDE, is a very important role to connect to the outside of IT. And then now Frank Weiss of Oracle start to create those standards. And then this is the structure of OpenCDE API. And here's the low level API, common shared API. And it provides very basic user authentication, authorization, and user management. It's very general, the role, function. Now on that general function, here's the BIM function, DCF, and IFC, and some diagram. And then with those technology of the OpenBIM, we can control not only documents or file, but much more small object of the BIM model, or just small data of property can be used and then update by using this API, or getting information of just one property via internet. So initially, we transfer file, but now we can transfer very small particle of data from BIM, and then updating very rapidly is the recent situation. And then why we construction BIM person are quite interested in is it can be rapidly and then the real timely the exchange information to not internal server but the very outside server. So what we did in last summit, we did some categorizing of CDE. So we can categorize any CDE by phase. If you use the project or operation or other, or by user group, by function. So there are many types of CDE now. So you said that you use Synchro, but Synchro now has the cloud. So you upload some schedule data and IFC data, the matching on the cloud of Synchro. So Synchro is, and then it can, if it will have OpenCDE API, it will easily connect to the BIM data, and then give us the recent updated schedule. And so stop, and then so what I want to say is CDE is very powerful tool for us, construction BIM person. Create is software ecosystem map is very strong tool for us, I feel. And then this one, all those from the BSI Award 2020. And did you see all those submissions? Many of you know who won the high top prize, but many of you do not see the very detail of the document, submitted document. But in that submission, there is the topic of this software ecosystem. And then all the project in construction division, the submission has this sheet. And here you can see software ecosystem of design phase. And then here's the construction phase. Those two are in the submission of this Johannes Ritz project. And then you can see and then compare what's the difference or what's their point. And here in design phase, as I said, it's basically geometry is the point, and then it's not rapidly changing. Person who create the modeler create the BIM model and then overlay. So all those are based on file transfer. But in construction phase, the system is much more large, and then the CDE comes center here, string beam, and then hollow builder is some kind of the visual too, but anyhow, it is hosted on the cloud, and Miro, MI, all those the cloud system are combined and then create the software ecosystem. So learning from this software ecosystem map is very variable. So, and this one is another project, the software ecosystem. And time runs, so I want to go fast. And so next one is a very detailed one. And it's the overall the map. And then it's the part of the map. So 3 sheets for this project. So next one, the first one is CD is very strong too. The next one is software ecosystem. Map is very strong system. And lastly, the UCM, use case management system, will be, not is, but will be the strong, powerful tool for us. So here's the vendor bit, and then connect with the IOC. It's kind of the software ecosystem map. So some system and combining CD, and then with this the software map and the workflow, you can create the resource of UCM data. So storing all those information to the UCM is some strategy of the technical room person or the Leon Van said, the technical director, mentioning UCM is very important. So I want to wrap up anyhow. So the starting from local optimization. Yeah. So what I want to say is ideally there should be standards, and then we can use standard and efficiently manage the construction. But now we do not have standard. The way of thinking is opposite. Starting from local optimization. And within those local optimization, we communicate with many software vendor. And then the request, what we need, what's the information request is. And then the vendor start to think, and then connecting the system A, B. So that's the local optimization. And then later on, the sharing use case, locally and globally, using software ecosystem map or UCM. And there will be many micro MVD or partial MVD, very small type, a one-to-one, some communication map will be stored in UCM. And then that will be the good resource of the making standards. So lastly, I want to show you connecting dots and share is the concept. Connecting one dot and another dot is the starting point. And then gradually making the very good and efficient software ecosystem. Left-hand side is the old style. Standard comes first, MVD, here's MVDA, so we can share. But if you do not have MVD, you should start A and connect B system. And then connecting dots and then share those information is the very fundamental strategy. So conclusion. So lastly, what I want to say is just establishing the very good community. So the firstly, I said I run 60 years construction room and local construction room. So I have many friends and the information. And then I want to share those information to you. And then I recommend you to start up some kind of local activity. So, but the starting local activity is easy, but maintain and continue that the community is very difficult, is my feeling. So I run every monthly meeting, but where's the resource or educational resource is the question, which I heard from many persons. So I wanna show you my secret. 3 resources. The one is the monthly newsletter from Aiden. I guess many of you receive this email monthly. So all those information, the very volume information. One just email, but 6 pages of volume. So you read all those and then share in your community is first step. And next one from Richard Kelly. He posts the activity proposal to us by email. And of course, those are posted by some user group of BSI or local group of BS, some chapter. So it's not routinely sent, but I guess not less than 10 in 1 year. So it's quite good material for the education. And last one is the BSI award, which I showed you. The information of the software ecosystem is very valuable to analyze in your group. So that's all those 3 main the materials you can use for your local chapter activity. And also, we have 6 members of steering committee. So if you have any information, or if you establish new construction room locally, please consult us, and we can help something. That's all. Thank you very much. If we have much more time, I want to show you some conversation with Van about the IDS or those kind of things, but we don't have time, not enough time. So that's the end. Thank you very much.
So you've got some question online.
Sorry?
You've got some question online.
Online.
Yeah. There is a few questions. The first
Oh,
one,
few questions.
let's make sure.
Yes. So
So the first one is, what is the progress on QTO and 5D? Rix is interested in participating in 5D use cases. How can we contribute?
what is the progress on QTO, quantity takeoff, and 5D? Oh. Oh. How can we contribute? It's quite difficult to, so that I need much more conversation, but how can I contact to him?
I will ask his details.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, I have a question from Mr. Neil Sandy. Yeah, thank you very much. But I will contact by email and then the much more detailed conversation I want to have. Thank you very much.